Hello, hello, hello. Where's Ben? Where's Ben? Where's Geoff?
Yeah.
Let's
Well, we
I don't
are
know, where
very
am I?
similar. Uh,
Practically identical. I often don't even know which one's which.
There we go. I've got Geoff on the stream now. Hello, 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 and welcome to this Council of Tamrinor session. My name is John, and I am joined by Ben or Geoff.
Hello. Yes, I am Ben or Geoff.
Which one are you? I think I'm Ben.
I think I'm Geoff.
There we go.
And Sean is also here.
This is an illusion.
And Sean may or may not be here.
Yeah, that sounds
I may or may not have existed once at some point, maybe.
right.
And John is in the stream chat.
How dare you?
We are here to continue our world building streams. It's been a little while since we managed to get a full council session, but we're all here.
I'm gonna go, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on. Bye.
Oh. Well, Geoff, it's been a while since we talked, I suppose. That is very cool. Tanny made this. Tanny made that title. Like, they didn't make the backdrop that it's on, but they made that bit. Hey, Bug95. We're going to talk tonight about the deities. We're going to go into a little bit more depth with the deities, because we've got 13 to 14 to maybe 15 of the gods, 12 of which are active and in the world at the moment. And so I want to go a little bit into the details about what that means for people. So I gave everybody homework. I gave myself the homework as well of going through and giving the deities a holy day and 3 commandments or tenets that their followers follow. Geoff says, "Greetings, fellow investigators," as he resubscribes for 84 months in a row.
What a nerd.
Well done, Geoff. That is many numbers. Geoff has disappeared. Oh, there he is.
Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment.
We might be seeing Geoff soon. And Bug says to forgive their spelling because they don't have their glasses on right now.
It's all right.
I
I
shall
don't
never
Your spelling
forgive.
looks like you've got your glasses on.
I mean,
we give that due to pretty much everyone else. I am jumping in the stream, aren't I?
I've not seen any issues with your spelling thus far, unless you haven't meant to say
no.
good evening and forgive your spelling. If you haven't meant to say those things, then your spelling is incredibly off.
There we are. I've
Very
appeared.
interesting. Haha!
You say this, but I don't see you yet.
Either way.
Me neither.
Maybe
I am
keep
Are
going.
you
on
the ghost in the background?
Yes.
I don't remember if we've discussed. Have we discussed on stream yet, or amongst the 4 of us, the domains of the deities?
I don't think so.
Don't
I don't
think
remember
so.
that.
So I went through when I was writing up the deities or the pantheon chapter. I went through and I've assigned domains to all of our gods, and I've also checked to make sure that we have a god for each of the D&D domains of the clerics. And obviously, as I say in the book, and as a lot of people point out in their campaign settings, just because a god has certain domains and doesn't have others, it doesn't mean that you can't be a grave cleric of a different deity. It just means that most of them tend towards these things.
Be a grave cleric with some life domain.
It's not likely, but it is possible that you could be that thing. Shall we, like, how do people want to handle this? Do we want to go down each, like, Ben, do you want to go down yours first?
It's probably a good idea just in case I need to dash off.
So, you had Asin the Spark, which is really easy because he's the first one in the book, because the alphabet.
Well, starting off with Asin the Spark, I begun with the holy day of Neast Spark's Jaw, which Neast Spark's Jaw is also known as New Inspirations Day. It is a grand celebration of all the arts in an effort to cause a spark in the heart of another. These celebrations are known to last the full length of the day and night, from gentle music to welcome in the day, to the rapturous evenings filled with home-brewed drinks and hearty meals brought together for a community to enjoy together. Of course, this day would not be without many a prank and other such merriment, but all in an effort to inspire a new direction. For example, when Bobbins in a hearty dance was flung into the arms of his future wife, Elegancia, by those who knew that they felt for each other but neither could make the first step. As one great rule of the night and the great idea, one great rule of the night and great ideas that are gained by the followers of a sin, they must be followed and attempted as it would be most likely given or guided by a sin themselves.
Sounds good.
And I must admit, the 3 commandments for this one was very simple. They seem to come in quite easily for the sake of, obviously, spark and inspiration. It seems to work quite nicely. So, the very first one is to follow the spark.
Okay.
Every follower of a sin has vowed to follow the sparks of inspiration that are given to them, and to encourage others to do the same by helping them, as the sparks are sin seeds and they must be nourished to grow. The second one is to never force the spark. The spark of inspiration is sacred. You are never to presume that you know where it will lead, nor to guide it to an end goal that you have perceived. You are there to help the spark grow, but not even a sin can tell you what it will grow into. So the whole concept is that you can plant a seed, but it will grow into its own thing. You can't force an apple tree to turn into a peach.
Yeah.
And the last one of a sin is to live with mirth and joy. This is not to say that followers are forbidden to feel sadness or any other emotion, for it is a truth of nature that you will feel these emotions. But they are more encouraged to always try and find mirth and joy when able, as it is believed that the spark is easier embraced through merriment, and so merriment should be spread. And those who find it difficult to find joy are to be helped, not forced to be into happiness, but to help them find it in their own way.
I like that.
So that's what I have for a sin.
Is it easy for you to send these to me so that I can copy them into the book?
I will send these
Cool.
to you so that you can type them in, because there is a lot written, I know.
That is so much easier than me trying to type it up as we go. So.
Oh, yes.
Appreciated.
That's fine.
Uh,
This is the reason why I was typing away nice and hectically beforehand. I was just like, might as well try and get there.
for the sake of Asin's domains,
Mm-hmm.
I have him listed down as a trickery domain because, obvious reasons, he is a trickster god. And also the Tempest.
Okay.
So he is trickster and Tempest oriented. Who was next on your list?
Next on my list was Elitheth, Mother of Growth.
Mother of Growth.
Now, the holy day of Elitheth is the harvest gather. In the land, there is a great mound of most fertile soil. So in this land, there's a great mound with a flat top, which I forgot to put in there, but nonetheless, I'll make a note on that one beforehand. But of a flat top with the most fertile soil in the entire land. Many have tried to take the soil away, only to find it is ruined as soon as it leaves the mound. And so this is taken to be a holy place. A holy place of Elitheth. Here, seeds can grow regardless of the time of year, and yet can only be taken with Elitheth's blessing, or it will rot as you leave. During the harvest gather, the mound will empty of everything that had grown on it prior, believed to have been harvested by Elitheth herself, or themselves. On this day, all who follow Elitheth bring forth seeds of their prized crop, only the best of what they have grown. And they will till the land of the mound and sow these new seeds and give prayer to Elitheth. It is said that Elitheth will bless them to grow throughout the next year and will bless the crops of the people that have sowed them. What do you think?
Interesting.
As for the commandment... Oh, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, any thoughts, Sean and Geoff?
Sounds good to me. I don't have anything to add or take away, really.
I like the idea. I like the idea that this whole thing is about like nurturing your own inspiration, nurturing your own spark, not influencing anybody else's.
Well, in which case, I'll move on to Elitheth's commandments. The first one is to never refuse a starving stranger. The seeds were given to the world for all, and for all it shall be shared. Should a stranger be struggling, you should offer them aid and a good meal of what the seeds have provided you. To do so is to gain great favor from Elitheth. To not is to bring their scorn. So effectively, it's along the lines of you can either help them out so much as to give them just a good meal and maybe a warm place to sleep, or if you're really feeling it, you could even try to offer them a job upon your farm, help them, get them to help you sow the seed so they might be able to find their way later on. But to reject them is to effectively say that they were not worthy of the seeds, which is not for you to say. If that makes sense. The next one
Rogue,
is to...
no. Rogue, no. Hi, Law. Rogue says, by the way, for the sake of anybody not reading the chat, Rogue says, one Fantasy Bermuda Triangle vibes about the patch of Earth that is constantly fertile. And Gods, my brain was rancid for a moment there. Never refuse a starving stranger. The hunger improves the flavor.
No, definitely not.
I mean,
that's not Elitheth. It might be some of the others, but that's not Elitheth.
Yeah, that's true. So the next commandment I have is to keep your tools maintained. Everything that sprouts from the seed is a gift and should be treated as such. With great care and duty, each seed should be treated properly from planting to harvest. As such, your tools are your holy implements and should be cared for as such. No blade should ever be dull, or hoe should ever be rusty.
Makes sense.
Nobody likes a rusty hoe.
And I did finally come up with something as well. Now, this is more. I'm not sure. We'll see what you think. But this sort of like came as a last minute thought as I was struggling to come up with three.
Rogue just got auto modded for saying no rusty hose.
Gardening
Depends on
implements,
what
surely.
Depends
This is
on what the
this
strangers
is a
are
gardening
getting
stream,
for.
surely.
And the last commandment we have is to plant every seed that comes your way. It is said that Elitheth will test your skill if you have proven yourself worthy, where a random seed will come into your path of life. To plant and allow this plant to thrive is a testament to your skill and is said to give a great blessing to your household. Any thoughts?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah? Plant that seed, bitch.
I must say, I did have a thought of it effectively turning the back on a load of the other ones, but it's just, turning it back on anyone who follows Evernorth. But the only problem is that kind of goes against the whole stranger. Never
Yeah,
refuse a starving stranger
Yeah.
unless they're a Nevernor.
Never refuse a
just-
starving
just
stranger unless you get to know them first, and then find out that you don't
Just-
actually
Just
like them.
full disclosure, I've ignored all the relationship things.
Yeah.
Just to add to that, if we were talking about seeds, could there be like a coming of age ceremony where a young or a child plants their first seed and grows their first thing?
That makes a lot of sense.
All fun and dandy until one of them plants an Audrey too.
I'm actually going to write that one in as a coming of age because that does make sense. So,
Like it's something that they nurture themselves, like, you know, rather than having like
I would
somebody else
say
do it for them. It's their first. It's
having
their
them
first time. Yeah.
even better than that, planting a tree.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's something which they nurture and they have to look after. It is their tree of life, the planting of the tree of life. The tree of life. I will write notes on that one and finish that one off.
And I'll expand those notes if you don't finish them.
Thank you. I'll make a quick jot on that one.
Rogue has also suggested I can recommend looking at Horizon's Utaru. 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 Utaru.
I think it's
Utaru?
Utaru is the
Utaru.
Yeah.
For inspiration for religious behavior, they carried packets of seeds around their neck to be planted when they die.
That is
don't know
also
if-
very nice.
I don't know if I got that far actually.
Actually, that kind of going with the whole concept of the tree of life. If they plant a tree of their life, to effectively carry a seed from your tree. So on the point of you dying,
There's
almost
another
like
tree.
there's a tree of your life and there's a tree of your death. It is a full circle kind of thing, and sort of enables life to carry on.
It's the circle of life.
I really like that. That's very good.
Well, it moves us all.
Evernorth.
Don't go any further, we'll be sued.
We're not singing it. We'll be fine.
Oh no. Disney's lawyers are very, very succinct.
Elitheth, I gave the domain of nature and light because that made sense to me. You need both of those things to be able to grow plants.
Makes sense. Sorry, just making a quick note.
Rogue says, I wonder if this goddess is matriarchal / non-monogamous. Seed is seed after all.
Interesting theory.
We're also coming up to the first advert break of the time that we're on the stream, so we might want to.
Do we want to take a little delay and then we'll come into Scourge?
Scourge.
It's 2.5 minutes. So if you can condense it into 2.5 minutes, it'll be fine.
Speak quickly. Actually, what I'll do is for the 2.5 minutes, I will say that Evanora, who is next to Eletheth on my listings on the page, who doesn't have many worshippers and therefore didn't get a divine day or commandments. They are a twilight and trickery domain because we've said that she is a trickster goddess, and having her the keeper of the garden, the fallen child of the starless skies, having her being one of the twilight goddesses sounded a reasonable idea to me. And then Scrooge, bringer of change, is a knowledge and trickery domain.
Yes.
Scrooge, in case anybody can't remember, is the god of trade and commerce, frequently manifests as a humanoid cat. He stands for fair trade and looks for equivalent exchange in all the deals that he brokers. His main holy symbol is a gold coin with a cat's paw on it. But some devout followers will show the gold coin being weighed on scales held by a pair of cat's paws. We've now got 40 seconds until the ad break starts, so this...
Right, let's try and squeeze it in.
Play for time. We're going to try in streams where we're doing a lot of talking that will stop for the ad breaks, because then you don't miss the talking if you are not a subscriber. When we're playing games, it doesn't make sense to stop for the ad breaks, especially when we're doing things like D&D. It's real difficult to be like every 30 minutes just whoa, stop the emotions, hold it in, keep it on track for a few minutes. When we're doing video games, you don't miss a lot in a minute and a half. Rogue says, loads of trickery gods. There's not a lot of them. It's just that the first 4 that we've talked about, 3 of them have been the trickery gods. There are a couple, there are a few of our gods where it made sense that they would have trickery roots. And yes, Evanora is very much the kind of twilight trickery god that would replace people with changelings or doppelgangers in the moonlight. Meanwhile, hello there to all cave inspectors, investigators, adventurers, and all of the amazing viewers. Today is a brilliant day for all kinds of gods and goddesses and grand celestials of all kinds, as we do so in their honor, by which I mean us, the creators of the gods, and especially me, because 42 is a much better number than 84, as it is, of course, the answer to everything, and that is what I am, of course. I am everything, which is why when we are playing the quiz, you should not give Ben your answers.
That is not what I wrote, John. That is not what I wrote.
I posit a rebuttal to that. Surely 84 is more than everything, is in fact double everything. It's double 42.
Oh, it can't be. Because if it is everything, you can't have more of everything.
You can have more than everything.
How can you have more of everything? If everything is everything, then it cannot be twice.
I'm
Geoff has
double of everything.
Jeff has double all of the things. Life, the universe, and everything. He has 2 of them.
Life, the universe, and everything,
and life and universe and life.
Rogue says infinity times 2 is still infinity. It's just a bigger infinity.
Yeah, but is that countably infinite or uncountably infinite? Because they are 2 very different things.
That is very true. Maybe I've got the countable, you've got the unaccountable.
Okay, we are back from.
That means I get the bigger one.
We're back from the ad break.
It's hard to tell. You can't count it.
We're back from the ad break. So Ben, tell us about Scrouge.
So Scrouge is great. His holy day is the day of the great bargaining. This day was not originally celebrated by all, but has pretty much every merchant has taken up the holiday. Some say it was because of riots, and others say that the selling potential was increased, but no one really knows anymore. So pretty much this is every marketplace on the day of the great bargaining has a great bargaining. On this day, all sellers in every market square, the great bargaining occurs. A day where there are no prices and everything must be bargained for. And on this day you can bargain with anything, from a coin to a fish to a rather pretty stone. From as soon as the first light hits the market square until the sun's last light leaves, a chaos of commerce is done in the honor of Scourge. How does that sound for a holy day?
It sounds like Black Friday on meth. I like it.
I feel like
Pretty
it's got to
much.
be the end of a week, some point, maybe a month or so before Crimmer.
I would say
Grandma!
it does feel like, it's like Black Friday on drugs, like you quite literally said.
Yeah.
But pretty much every price board, every price and label is taken down and thrown away effectively. Everything is bargained. And yeah, you can come with anything you have, and there is a chance you might be able to bargain and get something better, or something which is more suited for you. Because at the end, that was how commerce first started, was trading everything. And so commerce then changed to coins. A coin must be everything. And I like that as an idea that effectively it's a homage effectively to the beginning and the chaos of, I want this, you have that. I will give you this for that, and will you accept? And I just like the whole thing of it being a mixture between Black Friday and Wall Street, effectively, where it is the most chaotic trading floor you'll ever see, as people are literally almost getting to the point of fighting each other for the sake of getting their best deal. Now,
Yeah.
for the sake of these commandments, they're once again relatively simple, and if anyone wants to add in, by all means. But the ones I have is, first of all, prayer is done through counting of coins. To keep a good count of your coins, and a good keep of your coins is close to godliness, by their belief. Next to that, though, is to keep the flow of currency. The flow of currency is like a living entity, and needs to be treated properly to allow it to live. Proper trading is necessary for the flow of currency to exist. So you can't exploit the system. You want to allow it to carry on going. So imagine, once again, you've seen, thinking kind of on the trade floors where prices go up, prices come down. That is the living entity of currency breathing effectively in the mind of these followers. And it is something which should carry on.
Rogue has previously said, I've never been more ethically opposed to a divine being. And now has said, oh, I take that back. Keynesianism via divine mandate. I need to do some Googling real fast. Carry on.
And the last one which I have is a little bit of a blockier one in comparison, which is everything has a price. Nothing is beyond the universal commerce. In such, everything has a price. This is not to say that everything should be sold, but everything has a price. Through years of study and prayer, you will learn to see the value of everything and how it grows and shrinks, and get a glimpse of the living currency and how everything is within it. So far, only one person has achieved this, though they don't know it yet. Once again, I like it almost like currency in itself is a being which was created, but it's a metaphysical one. It's not something which is actually the understanding that we have, but everything fits into it. Every single thing has a fair price, effectively.
Is this
And it's not
is
to
this
say
is
that
this the man? Have we created the spirit of capitalism?
it effectively is in my mind.
I mean, he's sort
And-
of, in one hand, is, in the other hand, he's kind of anti some of the things of capitalism of like, yes, get all the money, keep all the money for me. And he's like, no, like this
Well,
this
that's it,
guy's
when it
like,
comes down to-
no,
no,
the
no,
money's good for
everything
giving to
has-
things.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The money has to flow. To hoard is to disrespect Scourge. Because, yeah, to hold on and trying to acquire as much currency as possible effectively kills what's... I'm about to say that Scourge has created the entity of currency. To hoard the currency is to almost like steal some of its life force. A coin can do nothing if it does no more than sit on a desk. The coin has to go into the flow of currency for it to mean anything. And that is where the metaphorical life of currency comes from.
To cut
And it
in
is
with a little bit of
chaotic.
Googling,
Oh,
John Maynard Keynes is considered the founder of modern macroeconomics. Keynesianism is based on the idea that the government should play an active role in the economy rather than letting the free market dictate everything. Keynesian economists believe that the government can use discretionary policies to manage short-term economic fluctuations. They also believe that the government should intervene to moderate the booms and busts of the business cycle. So basically the same sort of thing that we were saying about Scourge being a god that's like, the money needs to flow. Like, that's also what my understanding of that thing that I just Googled is.
it's an interesting one. I
Uh,
suppose art imitating life a dash, isn't it?
Rogue, sorry, my Googling has also led me to miss several points that were brought up in the chat. Rogue said, I'm weirdly invested in this god, and then realized, I didn't even intend to make that pun. And then Tanny questions, may not. And Rogue is encouraged that I did the reading that he assigned, like, while we were doing this podcast, stream, whatever the hell we're doing. What are we doing?
Whatever the fuck we do, I don't know anymore.
Do we ever know what we're doing? We just sort of do things.
And also, I don't.
Yeah, so that's... Oh, yeah.
Rogue also said, oddly enough, not necessarily. He's a commerce god. Capitalism is like a doctrine. So, yeah. Carry on.
Looking forward to seeing Hayek in the next stream. But yeah, so that's what I put forward for the sake of Scourge. Does anyone have any quotes or anything they think to add?
Friedrich Hayek is an Austrian-born British academic who contributed to political economy, political philosophy, and intellectual history.
My brain's shutting down with every economic fact I hear.
That's.
I'll just say that these are so. I want to almost place in, like, adjust the names ever so slightly and throw them in like they are effectively high orders of score. All I've seen in different lights and have tried and figured it out effectively with this whole concept of everything has a price, though not to say that everything should be sold. The kind of aspect and how they see it,
high
and how they go about it.
High cleric of Scourge, Keynes, and Hayek. Okay. Sean.
Who?
You.
Me? Oh.
I've gone to the back of. I've gone back to the start of the list of deities, and you had Beffin.
I did have Beffin. Fucking Beffin.
Who is the second of the deities in the list?
It's a fucking book, innit?
Again, because of the alphabet.
It's a fucking book, it's Beffin.
Beffin is indeed a book.
It's a fucking book, John. He is the follower of errors, or they are the follower of errors. I feel he is not really a thing you put on a book.
I believe that Beffin is probably a they. Like, some of the deities are he, some are some of him, some of them.
The god of knowledge, the god of knowledge, stories, and the written word. He is the word. They are the word. Whatever. Wombling free. I don't know. Right. For our holiday, I did originally set this holiday in autumn because I had this feeling of, like, being all snuggled up cozy with, like, books and knowledge and stuff. But then, with the way I was wording it, I realized it made more sense in spring.
Okay.
And I have the blooming of knowledge as a day of appreciation of the written word and knowledge as a whole. Followers will gather to partake in readings of various works of various subjects, such as plays or lectures, allowing the stories and subjects to enrich their minds and bloom within their thoughts. That's what I've got for the holiday. I've got now some commandments. So the first commandment I got is knowledge must be preserved. All knowledge, regardless of its origin, has to be kept safe and preserved. Adherents to Beffin must seek out any text that might be in danger of misuse or destruction that they learn of. So that if they hear about the Tome of Ultimate Evil, doesn't matter it's the Tome of Ultimate Evil, they have to preserve it.
We need a copy of that before it goes away.
Doesn't mean they have to use it. It just means they need to keep it and make sure it's safe. And make sure that no one uses the Tome of Ultimate Evil. But yeah, that's my first one.
Makes sense.
Thoughts?
Have you just created a restricted section?
The entirety of the temple is the restricted section. It's just my idea. Like, the more I kept thinking about Beffin, the more I thought I feel they'd be a lot more neutral than many other gods, because knowledge is not inherently good or evil; it just is.
As Rogue has literally just posted into the chat, knowledge is neither good nor evil; just merely exists.
Exactly. So the next one I've got, the next commandment, is all stories deserve to be told. All stories, regardless of their origin, should not be allowed to die. Followers of Beffin may partake in pilgrimages in order to tell and spread stories. The followers will usually try to make sure the story is in an area told in an area are either from other towns and lands, or are older tales that are at risk of being forgotten. Although they will sometimes throw in favourites of the location. Like, I don't know, Rockbottom's story of Dave the fucking violently ill who managed to beat off the
Dave.
goblin invasion.
Good old
I don't know.
Dave.
Dave the violently ill.
We'll workshop it. It's fine. We'll workshop it.
Yeah, that's it. It's there now. It's canon. It's now Dave the Violently Ill. The legend of Dave the Violently Ill. There's a statue in Rock Bottom of a man who's holding his stomach looking really queasy. And then my last commandment for Bethin is every mind deserves to grow. I kind of inadvertently did a lot of plant-based similes and metaphor in this. So every mind deserves to grow. All peoples of the world should be allowed to learn. Followers try to set up places of learning for any who wish to expand their minds, with the aim to, at the very least, teach reading and writing with more subjects if it is wanted or needed. So I would assume that the followers of Bethin would be quite fond of teaching.
That would make sense to me.
And so, like, rather than having a situation that we have a world like the old world in Warhammer, where reading and writing is a skill you have to deliberately pick. Like, this is like, I'm assuming this is going to be more of a world where pretty much everyone knows how to read and write. It's just like more advanced knowledge may not be necessarily, the forte of,
not something
Philip.
Everybody has.
Philip the Dung Raker or whatever.
But,
he may not know
books.
particle physics, but he knows how to read and write.
Rogue asks, what does Bethin think of theatres? Are they more of a campfire storyteller guy, or is Rocky Horror theatre show his vibe?
I would probably think that part of the knowledge that it would keep would be plays and other shows.
Yeah.
So they would probably, like I said, I have put in in the holiday that I thought of is like there would be plays and lectures and like dramatic readings and things like that.
I feel that they'd have a very strict like fiction versus non-fiction delineation, but
yeah, it'll be fully denoted. This is fiction. No.
These are the ones that actually happened. There's Dave the violently ill. These are the ones that didn't happen.
Oh God, I love the fact that I've made Dave the violently ill. If anything today, that is my main achievement.
Rogue is also saying,
I might put it in the today I'm proud section. Hang
on. Rogue is also suggesting, I wonder if there is a nickname around those using chalkboards, powder stompers, chalkies, or the white hands of Bethin.
No.
So Bethin, which is not spelled how Rogue is spelling it, but we won't pull him up on that because he can't see how we've written it down, because I'm not sharing the notes at the moment because I'm not writing anything down and it's boring to look at just written text. Bethin, the folio of eras, I gave the domains knowledge, order, and arcana.
Well, you're just going to throw in trickery there just to mess with
trickery.
And trickery.
He loves a good trick, that book.
Yeah.
Sorry, they love
what
a
was it
good
again? Sorry,
trick,
knowledge, whatchamacallit, and who to what?
Knowledge, order, and arcana.
Makes sense.
They felt like the ones that were the most...
yeah, those 100% make the most sense.
Yeah. What was the next one on your list, Sean?
Novalee, the undying devotion, goddess of love and boinking.
Incoming Tanny.
That's how we wrote that down.
Yeah. It is now. So the holiday I thought up.
There we
Tanny
go.
says, "What the fuck?"
There they are. What? What? You don't like that Novalee is now the undying devotion goddess of boinking? We wait for Tanny's response.
Furiously mashing the keyboard.
I love it.
I love it.
I love
Okay.
it.
Right. So the holiday I have thought up is also in spring. I've not. I kind of felt that the blooming of knowledge for Bethin would be mid-spring. I don't know when would be the best time for like a spring festival for the goddess of love and boinking.
Go to Jonathan Coulton for that answer.
But I put down the name for it as the Day of Delights.
Okay.
It's a day of revelry and celebration of love in all forms. It is a day to spend with those you love and confess your feelings, with parades, parties, feasting, and celebrating more privately. Winky face.
I will say that we did have some vague notes that there would be a celebration of Novalee on the 15th of Uana's breath, which I believe was basically around the same time in our calendar as Valentine's Day, basically.
That's fine.
So
I put spring just
the
because
Day of
I
Delights
wanted
would be around that point. Makes sense to
That
me.
is fine. I put a season because you put seasons in your one.
Yes.
So, right. Then
Rogue suggests, I assume they'd be aligned with when the wine in various boozes are ready.
But as for commandments, this one I found very difficult because
Fair.
some of the things I put down are a little bit iffy. So, for the first one, which I believe is very important anyway, is true love is consensual. Love is to be given, never forced or coerced. Followers of Novalee have shelters in many cities and towns to help those who have had that happen. Obviously, we don't need to ever go into it in stories or anything, but it's a thing that's there. And
there is support for that.
they also help in any way they can with the apprehension of anyone who breaks this commandment. Yes, I went there.
Yeah.
Which I believe would be under the remit of the goddess of love.
I mean,
the next
especially as she is, not only is she the goddess of love, but with what we've rolled for her relationships with the other gods, she's not very lucky in love herself.
Yeah.
She loves others, but they don't love her back.
Which is sad, because she's a lovely lady. She's a lovely lady person, deity god. The next commandment: love is for all. Every being deserves to feel love, so long as they open their heart to it. Followers are always available to offer advice and counseling for those who struggle to find love of any kind. They also arrange events regularly to encourage people to meet, whether that be as friends or lovers. So they set up like speed dating and shit like that. But yeah, that's the second commandment.
Yeah.
As I have it. And I am law.
Sean.
And then finally, your heart should always be open. While the everyday citizenry may choose who to love, Novalites must try to love all. Followers of Novalee must always have their hearts open to be a friend or family to all, and to show and to try and be there for anyone who needs to feel loved. I feel that one probably needs a little bit more additionals of like, they don't just fucking like the big bad can't come in and say, "Hey, can I have a hug?" It's like,
I mean, yes, but not like I'm gonna hit you again afterwards.
yeah.
Rogue has two other questions. One, out of curiosity, is it love, lust, or both?
Both.
I thought lust would be more like one-sided rather than consensual.
Lust is both-sided. If you
Lust can be both-sided.
as a person who has
can be
felt lust before,
yeah.
has felt mutual lust and enjoyed it very much.
Mutual loss is usually a very handy thing.
So yeah, like lust is not necessarily a bad thing.
The other side of it, are you going into the different versions of love, like with the Greeks believing there's 7 versions of love? Or is this literally just the love between two people?
Novalee has
People, depending.
repeatedly throughout the description of the god, we have said that Novalee is the god of love in all its forms.
Yeah, so obviously homosexual, bisexual, polyamorous,
but also between friends, between family, between lovers, or
exactly.
with just yourself.
Love thyself, you bitch.
We're approaching another advert break, but Rogue says, does she run orphanages?
That is a very good question. And once again, a love for all.
I mean, I feel if any god was to, I would thought she would.
It makes a hell of a lot of sense.
I mean, she feels like we've got the god of family in some ways in her. Like,
yeah,
it makes sense that
again,
she like, especially as we like with the first of the commandments, you suggest that she's got spaces for people whose love life hasn't gone well.
Yeah. So yeah, it would make sense.
It would make sense that she would run orphanages.
Yeah.
Or not personally, obviously. She's a goddess. She's got things to do.
Yeah, she's got other things to do. She's got love and boinking to deal.
Yeah.
Very important.
Rogue, then on the 7 types of love, Eros, Agape, Philia, and the 4 others. Which I feel I need to do a quick Googling, but he also says, I wonder if she'd give you different epithets based on which type of love you are currently dealing with, alongside different coloured uniforms.
Indeed.
That would be rather interesting, wouldn't it?
So Eros is romantic love. Philia is friendly love between friends. Agape is the universal or self-love that is extended to all people. Ludus is flirtatious or playful love. Storge is familial love. Pragma is the committed love or long-standing love. And Philausia is self-love. Different types of love can be present.
And the lesser-known 8th one, Boinkius.
I think that would fall under Ludus, the flirtatious or playful love.
Boinkius is their own thing.
Different types of love can be present in different relationships. For example, a romantic relationship might be full of Eros, but also needs Ludus, Philausia, and Philia to achieve Pragma.
It just sounds like you're talking about about like medieval illnesses at this point.
I was thinking more
Oh,
like a recipe, to be fair, you know.
your pragma levels are very low. I prescribe a course of leeches.
I like how our minds go to. You think medical, I'm thinking like in the kitchen, right? We need a little bit more eros in here, just a dash of
I was
magic.
with pragma. I was honestly flashing back a little bit to Eternal Darkness, where it was all of the magic spells were done by chanting various names of the elder beings that you were worshipping to. And one of the eldritch beings you could worship to basically just enhanced the spell you were casting. So you, like, when my friends were playing it, they would, like, do however many things they needed to do the main spell, and then you just have pragma, 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 if that was the name of the thing, to be like, to enhance the spell, because it would just make the spell more powerful. Rogue says, I wish I could see a priest and be told, you need 3 days of Eros, please sign the following form and visit the temple on the mountain and see me in the morning.
Oh.
Really are a quack, aren't you?
He also points out there is also mania, is obsessive love. So yeah, those commandments sound fine to me, and I feel that she does run orphanages.
Barnages.
That makes sense to me.
Oh,
Then.
me.
She is also the domains that I gave her were life and light.
Yeah.
Sure.
I would like them to make a love domain for clerics, because
there's nothing
You
official.
need to have one. I need to have one.
Rogue
the
is
bards would
suggesting
be all over that one. They'd be learning everything they could about that.
Rogue suggests a goddess of manic love would be the dark counterpart to Novally the Undying Devotion. # goddess of Yandere.
That kind of sounds. I'm going with the Yandere side of thing. That kind of sounds like it should be more like the warlock equivalent.
And
you will always be mine, and no
and then
one else.
I got my last god that I got given, which is, very much along the same lines. I got Xerius, the Iron Paragon.
Yeah.
God of war and victory.
Yeah.
I thought I'd give you similar vibes.
Yeah, so the holidays, I've got 2.
Okay.
That are like back. I feel I got this idea of them being back to back.
So like a long holiday weekend for the Xeris.
Yeah, it's like two days of this particular these events that occur. I've got now. I'm not sure about the name of the first bit because I've kind of nicked it from something else.
You've been inspired.
I've got the Proving and the Feast of the Victorious Dead.
Okay. Which
happens in midsummer, because I feel that this particular event needs everyone to be ridiculously uncomfortably hot and sweaty and everything else.
I mean, we also don't have a lot that happens in the summer at the moment. So, I mean, I feel that fits well into the calendar.
So, yeah. So the Proving part, so the first day, is a day of tournaments, competition, and battle. The tournaments and other competitions are held where chosen participants of the various settlements may compete for victory, as well as reenactments of renowned battles are performed. So, it's a day of just, I say fun. It can be a bit violent fun. No death. No people killing each other in these tournaments. They're like friendly tournaments. And there might be some sparring and things like that, and some like battle-like events, but like with like wooden swords and stuff like that. So not going to kill anyone. The day after comes the Feast of the Victorious Dead, a feast to remember all those that fought and died to give the world the freedoms of the citizens that freedoms that the citizens enjoy.
Okay.
You have this first day of kind of just activity and like tournaments and competition and like rivalry and all that kind of jazz. And then the day after is contemplation and being thankful for
We're still here.
we're still here because these people gave their all for us.
To try and help you with the whole, it was the proving that you weren't sure about the name of.
Yeah, the proving, I like the proving as a name, but it is something that has been used by something else.
How about Iltana?
Iltana.
Iltana is Elvish for proving. To prove yourself.
Possibly.
It's a thought. I won't
It's a
force anything, but
It's an option.
I mean, like I said, I like the name proving. It's like because you're
this is the thing. It
proving your
sounds
worth.
really good. And to be fair, I think a lot of people would actually. It's something which I'm sure there are multiple different provings around. It's that sort of thing that works, really, I'd say.
Like it's the proving. I don't care. Sue me
There we
for
go.
other people that do the things. Yeah. So yeah, that's the holidays. If 2 back to back is fine.
So it
Yeah.
makes sense.
It's kind of the dual nature of Zarius as well, in that, he is the god of war and victory, and stopping when you've won is like one of his big things. Like, he's not the god of slaughter, he's the god of we're doing this because we need to.
Yeah. We've had a disagreement, we're going to have a Barney, and then we're going to stop.
And Rogue,
so he's
Rogue questions, who worships Zarius? Soldiers, mostly.
Soldiers, mostly, but then obviously there might be the odd person who's just thankful to soldiers. Like in my family, in real life, my family, we'd not had like hardly any of our family has ever been in the military or anything like that. But we are very much like we love the British Legion. We will always buy a poppy. We will always like give to those kind of charities and things like that because those people fought and died for us. So yeah, it's so yeah, primarily soldiers, but then also just people who want to who are supportive of that thing. But anyway, commandments.
Yes.
He hasn't got any. No, he hasn't.
Oh, he doesn't say anything.
The first one, there is no honor in slaying a surrendered foe. While the battlefield may be monstrous, you should not become a monster because of it. A surrendered foe should be treated with dignity and respect, and should never be slain for no reason, and any who do, their life is forfeit. So, don't kill surrendered foes. Don't treat them with respect. Treat them with dignity.
Yeah.
And I feel the life is forfeit thing is it's so unforgivable. The person will take the place of will not take the place of the person, but will be punished to that severity because of it.
I'm going to try and start throwing these spellings into chat when...
Never. The second commandment, the bonds of battle shall never be broken. In battle, all are brothers and sisters when the fighting is done, or even when the fighting is done. It is the duty of the followers of Zarius or any ex-soldier to try and help any battle brother or sister when they struggle the most. So the idea I had here was like, because once again, in our world, we have occasions where veterans aren't necessarily taken care of.
Yes.
I feel that the followers of Xerius or whatever, I don't know how to pronounce this one, would Xerus would try, like, if they noticed a veteran on the street, like, down on their luck or whatever, they would try to help.
Question from me then: would that also apply to soldiers, veterans of the whatever the enemy was at the time?
Question.
Hold that question for the next commandment.
Okay.
No, we want an answer now.
Is this a single council brain cell coming into play again?
Apparently, possibly.
This is like transcendental thinking right now.
Rogue says there are historic warrior lodges that are like Freemasons for soldiers.
Yeah. Why not? But to before Geoff melts down for not knowing what this next commandment is.
What is the next commandment?
Enemies are enemies until the time of victory. Battle your enemy with all your power, but when the war ends, do not dwell on hatred caused by it. The followers of Xerius work to counsel soldiers after the war to let go of any animosity for their enemy in order to continue their lives without the fear of future issues with the people of that land or species. So that, pretty much exactly that, once the war's over, they're not your enemy anymore. More often than not, they've been folded into your world, so you're gonna have to deal with them. So
it makes sense.
They work to, like, not condition, but to just help. Because obviously, if a war's been going on for a particularly long time, there's a chance that animosity won't be easy just to let go of.
No.
So the priests and other followers of Xerius will work to help soldiers get over that, and to see them
health support for soldiers.
And to see them as just people that this pretty much in a lot of cases with this particular land and everything, most of the time they're going to be the same as you, just people who were following orders. They didn't necessarily want to follow those orders, but they were made to. So
I'm reminded of one of the storylines in Babylon 5 where during the Earth Minbari War, Earth was getting its backside kicked very comprehensively, and one of the doctors, one of the main characters of the series, who's a doctor, he had a field hospital where he was treating Earth patients and Minbari patients, and because of his needing to study how the Minbari physiology, the Earth army then came to him and said, like, give us your notes because we want to know how to defeat these people. But he wouldn't do it. He burnt his notes because his oath meant that he couldn't bring harm to another living person, even though they were on the other side.
Yeah.
And that was an active time of war with Earth getting its backside kicked very, very comprehensively.
Very, very soundly.
The
buns were rosy with the kicking.
Rogue, I would query, when you say what is this divine's opinion on avoiding war, do you mean as a large group of people managing to get a peace treaty together before war breaks out, or do you mean a deserter running away from the front lines? Like, on what scale of avoiding war are you asking this question before we try to answer the question? Option 1, a war didn't happen.
It is not his purview until the war happens.
For argument's sake, what would the answer be if it came down to option 2, though? A deserter in this situation.
I feel as much as Xerius likes, well, not necessarily likes war, he's the idea of doing war correctly. and I feel he wouldn't necessarily punish someone for deserting. The whatever government or kingdom that soldier belongs to might feel differently, but I don't believe the god would necessarily care. It's like if that person doesn't want to fight, he evidently doesn't have the spirit for it. He shouldn't be made to fight. He's just going to be, if anything, he's probably going to be a detriment or even a danger to his fellow soldiers if he's made to fight.
Like that answer.
I have connected with Darius.
Xerius, by the way, I gave the... he is one that got 4 domains.
Oh.
Obviously, he got the domain of war, because...
What?
I know, right? It's crazy. I also gave him the Forge domain.
Makes sense.
And
You
then
need to forge stuff for war.
also Death and Grave.
Also makes sense. And trickery.
And Trickery, because, you know, everyone on Tamrinor does Trickery.
Yeah, trickery.
Rogue says, wait, what about the Forging instead of the Proving?
I feel if it was training new recruits, forging would make sense. But this is just kind of just proving a point and proving you're better. So I feel proving makes more sense. In my opinion, I could be, you know.
Rogue says,
Other opinions are allowed.
Available.
Other opinions are available. Please check your local market for opinions. Opinions not always valid. Geoff, would you like to go next, or shall I go next?
I'll go next. So I've taken
I'll
the
stamp my notes down then.
I've taken the guidelines of the assignment so far and chosen to disregard them because I've done my laws first rather than my holy days.
How
My God.
dare you?
He's done them out of order. Could you remind me what your first deity is?
Yes, I had Deimos, the Maelstrom. Deimos, holder of the void, master of the Maelstrom.
Yes,
So-
I am there now.
Yes, so...
Well, if we're doing this backwards, let me start by saying, and I think you might see where this is coming from, Deimos I gave the Tempest domain.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense, yep.
What kind of bullshit is this, John?
And of course Trickery, because, you know.
And of course, trickery.
Everybody does Trickery.
It's trickery all the way down.
Yeah.
So for Deimos, the 3 I'm going to say tenets that his followers are to live by, going on the idea that he embodies the storm. The first one is to embrace change. Change is inevitable, so embrace it. Don't shy away from it.
Okay. Rogue, no, that was a joke.
It was a joke. It's a funny joke.
So change is inevitable, so embrace it. Don't shy away from it. The second one is to act decisively. Whatever you do, be decisive, be confident. Don't second guess yourself.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good one.
Yeah.
And the third one, stand firm. Don't stand firm. Never back down. Never give in. Always stand your ground.
Very good, actually, for the sake.
Those are on the ideas that the storm is chaotic, so it changes. The storm is unstoppable, and the storm is indomitable. I'd say no one can conquer the storm. So embrace change, act decisively, and stand firm are the 3 tenets for them to live by.
I think they're good tenants.
And for the day, I've gone for the day called Storm's Eve. This is somewhat of a more flexible day, but it usually takes place during the first month of the year. It's the day before the first big rains of the year. As a reminder that life can change very quickly, so do not get too settled in the way things are now. So it'd be a day when people let go of things that perhaps they've been holding on to for too long.
My umbrella!
A
My baby.
day when
My
a day when they
cabbage.
start a day when they start a day when they start a new chapter, a day when when they do something new. The whole idea is it's a day of change for them.
Okay.
And it's always the day. It's always the day before the first big rains, or even the first big storm of the year.
Mark says they'll keep their grudges. Thank you very much.
Any comments, queries, questions?
Kind of like that one actually.
Yeah, makes
is
all
that
good to me.
Is that we're talking like in the first month there will definitely be a rainstorm, so we prep for that?
I think so. Yeah, as I say, the day's a bit flexible. Generally, it being in the first month, but the day itself is probably a bit flexible. They also appear to have they'd have to have some really good weather forecasters for this.
I was going to say they've definitely got some like clerics of Deimos looking at a pressure gauge and a set of readings and being like, ah, yes, this magical thingy over here is going lower, and this one is getting higher, and that means
they've got one of those stones where it says if it's shaking, if it's bouncing, it's windy, if it's wet, it's raining.
Ah, stone is gone. We are fucked.
I mean, it's either that or it could be like a regular thing that happens. Like there's one point in the year where the tempest gets too much and it seems to come across like a day of rain just gets through.
Yeah.
And it could be potentially that it's actually let through for the sake of, keeping the agriculture and giving a chance for life to grow. It needs the water and is sort of let through. But at the same time, then is immediately held back again. It is the time that Deimos gives the water, allows the tempest.
I'm also just liking, however, like the the clerics of Deimos just in front of a map of Tamrinor, just going, and there is a high pressure system coming in this way, and that means it's going to be Storm's Eve tomorrow. So pack your umbrellas. You know what's coming.
To me, I love the thought of people walking around grumbling, saying, bloody clerics of Demos never get the bloody weather right.
They're really good at storms and shit at every other weather formation.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, whenever there's the sunny days and all this sort, no one's ever ready for them.
Yeah,
it's only when it's miserable weather, so they're known for the miserable weather.
And no one's ever prepared. It's only when we're going to get pissing down rain.
Rogue says, wait, does that mean that some of the clerics are like those Mexican weather girls?
Yes.
No, I was going to say the entire order is just Ian McCaskills.
Yeah, they're like the Mexican weather girls, and that's just the men.
Geoff, who's next on the list?
Oana, the Verdant Queen, also known as the Soulblind of the Bedgiver and the Keeper of the Circle. So Oana's
domains are life, peace, and order,
and trickery,
Yeah.
And a tempest.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
So she is life, peace, and order because she is the cleric of life, the goddess of life, not the cleric of life. That's somebody who follows her. She's also the long-term lover of Droth, the god of death, because that sounded fun at the time, and we liked it.
So, Oana's tenets for her followers are respect nature,
or else.
Kind of leads into the second one as give as much as you take. If you chop a tree down for wood, plant a new tree. If you have to if you have to pick a flower, plant a new flower. Just the idea that keep it in balance. Whatever you take, you also give back. And the third one,
smiles at this.
and the third one, never cause suffering. If you do have to kill an animal for food, do not cause it undue suffering. And Uana's holiday is actually a week. This would take place. These ad breaks are coming in quite quickly.
They come
like.
in they're every half hour now.
I'm sure it used to be longer.
We've put in more adverts because it means that we get no unexpected ad breaks when people join the stream.
It's good.
Iwana's day is actually a week in the midsummer called the Woodland Sun, and during the week, participants are preparing various things like food, various plants, and on the last day, participants will go into the woodlands and care for trees, animals, and birds, giving back to nature. So their day is going into the nearest woods and giving back to nature.
All make sense for Uana.
Rogue
Make way.
questions. Is there chaotic or is there a divinity of chaotic or overwhelming life?
What would overwhelming life be?
I'm not sure.
For the purge.
I would also, as we're getting towards an ad break, I'm going to read a bit of the notes from the book about Uana, because I think that this is a bit of the notes that Sean will appreciate. The subtle shift from where they were in the shortened notes to where they are in the book form notes. Like Droth has the willing follower of the first, Uana has the unlikely follower, Boris the Squirrel. A 6'4" tall, well-muscled squirrel who acts as her messenger. He doesn't see any difference between his enlarged frame and that of a normal squirrel, and is constantly surprised when the faithful of his mistress can pick him out from the other members of his race.
Love Boris.
Boris and all, yeah.
Boris is best boy. It's this giant hench squirrel
Yes.
that thinks it's a normal sized squirrel.
Who thinks it's a perfectly ordinary squirrel.
Doesn't know why the branches keep snapping.
Doesn't know why the trees bend that way when he tries to climb them.
And why he can't fit into the same hole as all the others.
Rogue suggests that overwhelming life would be things like invasive species such as locusts, overgrowth, algae blooms, any animal without predators.
Well, it's not Oana the Verdant Queen for a kickoff.
Yeah, no, she's very much balanced. I don't think we do, but it's something interesting that we could look into adding, much as the suggestion has come up of the mirror to Novalee being the goddess of manic love, or god of manic love. We can, the gender neutral god of manic love. Who's to say
So it's
what
kind of like
they are?
It's kind of like the dark mirrors to these gods, isn't it?
Yes, so some of the gods lend themselves to dark mirrors. I don't really want to know what the dark mirror to Scrouge, bringer of change, is.
There's quite obviously a dog that is the god of philanthropy.
To be fair, there was a story I came across once, which is I think it's in the Greek pantheon. Oh, I could be wrong. Where there is I'm actually now thinking which pantheon or which one it is. It might not be Greek. but there is a god of poverty. And there was a whole story about no one wants the god of poverty. No one wants to give favor to the god of poverty. No one wants a favor from the god of poverty. So where worship is what keeps gods vibrant, she has become wizened, she has become full, and she looks out for those who are impoverished and all this sort of thing. And it's one of those things where it's more the way that they're perceived. But at the same time, the whole point is like, well, you need poverty, otherwise nothing else happens.
I mean, I
Like,
feel
if there was
given
no poverty, there would be no one working. There would be no need.
given the description that
need-
we had of Scrooge being the god of the money must flow, I feel that his dark mirror would be someone like Zuxos, the god of hoarding, who keeps the money because it's mine.
That makes more sense, yeah. That whole point of, yeah, exactly that. That you want to hoard and hold on to literally everything. It doesn't flow. It doesn't. That does make a hell of a lot of sense.
Zuxos, of course, being how long it took me to try and form Zuckerberg, Bezos, and or Elon Musk into a singular name.
Just throwing it out there. Zuxos is a three-headed dragon.
Yeah.
Is it that one from the meme where you got two serious face and one goofy face?
And who's the last god on your list?
Nephili, the Knight's Blessing, keeper of Somber and the Dreamweaver.
I gave Nephili the domains of Twilight and Arcana
and Trickery.
And Trickery.
And tenets.
Nephili's tenets that I've given are cherish your dream. It's your dream. I think very much like Ben's idea of like inspiration. Your dream is yours. Your dream is yours alone. No one can take it away from you. So cherish it. Do not neglect those who
can't remember the name of it now. The tautology nature of that. Your dream is your dream. And just end. You just get some very bad clerics. You just end there. Your dream is your dream.
Yep. Do not neglect those who have yet. Do not neglect those who have yet to fulfill their dreams. And the last one is do not cause the dream to be destroyed. And Nephili's Day is the Dream Vigil. This is the first night of winter where participants perform an all-night vigil, praying for those souls who are unable to wake up.
Do you know the whole thing of not trying to destroy another person's dream, but I can imagine it also has a negative effect. So, my dream is to run your company. Give me your company.
Are they also the god of nightmares?
I'm just checking what I've written in the list. While most of the mortal followers on Tamrinor no longer worship Nephili or her sister Evanora, they are still greatly influenced by the time they spend in the realm that she commands, the dreaming, whether for good or ill. Nephili has been less twisted by the exile and is grateful for the quiet solitude that comes from being the guide and master of the dreaming, but also ensures that those who have wronged others and hidden it in their waking lives face punishment in their dream excursions. Nephili is frequently visited by Felkite, the Wanderer, who tells her stories of his exploits, and she rightfully listens to them and believes in his great power and wisdom, and that he should be paid rightful respects, despite the fact that he is mostly bullshitting.
One question that came to mind as we were looking at this, are we having a Dreamlands of Tamrinor?
We have mentioned that there is the dreaming. like the capital D, the dreaming.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So yes, there is a dimension of dreams. That is something that we haven't really discussed in any amount of detail. It's on my list of things we still need to talk about, is the extraplanar spaces, because we've got the Garden of the Starless, the Garden of the Garden. Bear with me a second. The Garden of Starless Skies and the Slumbering Twilight, which the Slumbering Twilight is the Fey realm, sort of a twisted, exaggerated version of Tamrinor. The Garden of Starless Skies is just listed as Shadow Realm? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And then we also have The Dreaming, capital T and D. We've mentioned that there are 7 higher planes and 7 lower planes. Tanny is very loudly saying into the chat that they can explain the garden.
It just makes it sound like there's something wrong with the garden.
Yeah, it does.
I can explain. I can explain.
Explain what happened to the garden.
We'll let you in the call, Tanny, when we're actually talking about that side of things. We'll book it in that you can join us to discuss the extraplanar spaces, because we don't really have the time for that tonight. But yeah, that is something that in the new year we need to get to, is to discuss what the higher and lower planes are, because we've sort of alluded to in some of the things we were discussing the fact that there are the 7 planes of the 7 virtues and the 7 planes of the 7 sins. We might need to go around and name a few of them and like come up with details of what is actually there.
Sense.
And stuff. And apparently invite Tanny along.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know whether Tanny's that interested in talking about it.
Maybe. We'll see. So that's your list, Geoff, isn't it?
That is my list. Yep, I'll send you these little notes that I have.
Thank you very much. And also, Sean, I hope you can as well, because I...
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll send them across in a minute.
Thank you very much. I'm going to grab my notes now then, which is I had the god Droth. Droth, the last breath, the god of death. Droth, so we did Holy Days first. Holy Day is the Feast of Reflection, which takes place on the first full moon of autumn. This day is dedicated to honouring and remembering the deceased. Followers gather to share stories of their loved ones, light candles, and offer prayers to guide the souls of the departed. It is a time for reflection and communal support.
Yeah.
And then the tenets of Droth embraces the cycle of life and death. Followers must understand and accept that death is a natural part of life. They should honour the living and the dead, recognising the importance of each phase in the eternal cycle. They should guide the souls of the departed. It is the duty of Droth's followers to assist souls in their journey to the afterlife. This may involve performing rituals, offering prayers, or providing comfort to the dying and their families. And then live with honour and purpose. Followers must live their lives with integrity, knowing that their actions in life will be judged in death. They should strive to leave a positive legacy and prepare themselves for their own eventual journey to the afterlife.
Sounds very good.
These all make sense
And Tanny,
and
yeah,
are acceptable.
like the Day of the Dead. It's not necessarily a day to be really sad that somebody's died. It's a day to think about them and to remember them and to not necessarily be sad, but, you know, being sad can be a part of it, but being happy that they were here as well.
And like Danny just said, very much like the Day of the Dead.
Yeah. And so Droth's domains are, and this will come as no surprise, death, grave, and twilight.
And trickery.
And trickery. I also had Felkite the Wanderer. Felkite the Wanderer's holy day is the day of the first step and is a vibrant and hopeful spell checking as I go, apparently. Is a vibrant and hopeful celebration marking the beginning of new journeys. It is a time for individuals to set intentions, overcome fears, and embrace the unknown. The day is marked with the blessing of paths, where travellers and adventurers seek the blessing of the Felkite priests, or priests of Felkite, before embarking on their journeys or the next leg of their journey. It is also common for people to gather and tell stories of heroes who have overcome their fears to embark on great adventures. The story is designed to shared are designed to tempt others to embark on their own journeys. The day is filled with music, dance, and feasting. It is a time for family and friends to come together and support each other in their endeavours. The day of the first step takes place on the 10th day of Felkite's venture.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So is this another one where coming of age could be going on a journey, like somewhere completely foreign to where you were brought up?
It could be.
What it is when they turn 10, they're sent on a journey to catch multiple kinds of creatures.
Yeah.
Exactly right, yeah.
You get given a small electric mouse and shoved out into the world, and you have to now be the very best like nobody ever was.
It's a very hard coming of age.
So just to recap, that's Disney coming afterwards, and now it's Nintendo coming afterwards. Is that
yes.
right?
Yeah, well, if we're going to aim for
World
one,
as well, to be fair.
if we're going to aim for one heavily litigious company, we might as well go for the double whammy.
If we can
triple,
somehow,
you don't get the Power Worlds as well if you throw in weaponry.
if we somehow get like the Nintendo lawyers on this side and the Disney lawyers on this side, and then just duck, they might hit each other.
Yeah, if we just duck at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, though, I think, imagine if that did happen, that would be the greatest thing possible for us to say, we'll be well known. Coming for. I'll take that. Doesn't matter what we come up with next. People at least know who we are.
We'll get the BuzzFeed articles. The company that pissed off 2 mega giants.
The tenets of Felkite: seek glory above all else. A follower of Felkite must constantly strive for heroic deeds and legendary accomplishments. Their name should echo through the ages. Defend the weak and oppressed. The true measure of being a hero is not defeating monsters, but in protecting those who cannot protect themselves. And embrace the camaraderie of the road. A hero is often defined by their companions. Foster bonds of loyalty and friendship in those who share your journey.
Yes.
That all sounds good to me.
Felkite's domains are nature, knowledge, and life. And Tanny says, down, down, down the road, down the witch's road.
What?
No, nobody else has watched Agatha all along?
No.
Not yet.
Fair enough.
No.
The last one on our list for this evening, then. Does Felkite have relations with the dream god? Yes. Nephili in Nephili's entry in the book, it mentions that Felkite frequently visits Nephili and tells her the stories of his exploits. She rightfully listens to them and believes in his great power and wisdom. He is possibly making a lot of them up.
I would love for this to have a little bit like Warhammer Orc logic. That because she believes the stories, they become true.
It is mentioned in Felkite's. He is a larger than. So I read Felkite's entry as well. Felkite is a larger than life character, is a master storyteller. His tales are epic in scale, filled with impossible feats and miraculous escapes. He loves to recount his adventures, often exaggerating details to a comical extent. Despite his boasting, there is a genuine passion for heroism and adventure in his heart. While some claim that Felkite started his life as a mortal hero, there are hints in his stories that he might have been more than he seems. Some ancient texts suggest that he was a powerful being who descended to the mortal realm to experience the thrill of adventuring firsthand. Others claim he is a primordial spirit of courage and exploration, taking on mortal form to inspire others. Both of these make for great stories, so Felkite has used both of them himself. Felkite's place of worship are often found in the bustling taverns or near the edge of civilization. They are places of camaraderie, storytelling, and preparation for adventure. Clerics to Felkite are typically charismatic and outgoing, and often serve as bards, minstrels, or adventurers themselves. I mean, history in Felkite's eyes is a bunch of stories he believes in.
I would also love that every story, even if it sort of counteracts another story which has been told about Felkite, have all been told by Felkite at one point or another. And that is why the history is so all over the place. You can't really remember the story exactly.
You want to know how I got these scars?
I'm kind of picturing Felkite as being like Minsk. Like, you know, just, I'm going around and punching evil in the face. This tells great story. We tell great story of this time where we punch evil in the face. And now I insert boot into evil's buttocks.
I could definitely see that as well, to be fair. I could just sort of see Felkite being literally the person who will just literally wander into your camp, sit down. Let me tell you a story, is just pulling out a bottle and having it.
Who the fuck are you?
Questions after story.
Oh. Yeah, he's not a trickster.
I don't know, but it's just the charisma which comes with him. Just sort of exudes so much that you just sort of go along with it.
The last on the list is Ismene the Pathstrider. Ismene the Pathstrider, the Watcher, the Protector at the Crossroads, the Breach Guardian, and the Tamer. Ismene is Holy Day is the night of the Watchman, is a night of vigil and prayer occurring annually on the night of the Cosima new moon in Droth's Claim. Oh, he's always wearing... Sorry, I'm getting distracted and going back to Felkite, and Tanny's saying, I imagine the look of Felkite with long tied-up dark hair in a very flared-out sideburns and always wearing a shit-eating grin.
I mean, I keep the more I keep hearing about him, the more I'm like thinking I might have inadvertently made him for another D&D game I made. I did an Oath of Glory paladin who like spent the evening before the adventure just going to anyone who would listen and tell stories of his great exploits, which he overblew a little bit. And would hand out headshots that you'd sign for that as well.
Yes, I am Felkite. So, the Night of the Watchman is a night of vigil and prayer. It occurs annually on the night of the Cosima new moon in Droth's Claim and is a night of solemn reflection, vigil, and prayer. I already said vigil and prayer. I might need to cut this down a little bit.
Prayer and vigil.
Editing as we go. Many people choose this night to renew their oath to uphold the law or make new commitments to serve their community. Every home and place of worship is illuminated with lanterns to match the holy symbol of Ismian. Devout followers will lead processions through the streets of the city.
No.
To me as well.
And the tenets or commandments of Ismian seek justice. Followers are obligated to pursue justice not only for themselves but for others, ensuring that wrongdoers are held accountable for their actions. Honor your path. Each individual has a unique path to follow. Followers must respect their own journey and that of others, avoiding interference and obstruction. And guard the watch, to remain vigilant and watchful, always aware of potential dangers and ready to protect those in their care. Ismin often finds himself at odds with Asin the Spark for reasons of look at him over there.
Which is weird because they're both trickery domain.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, they're currently playing tricks on each other. It gets annoying.
Ismian is peace and order. Ismian is the deity of law, protection, and order. He typically manifests in the form of a towering figure clad in dark hooded uniform with brass accents. He has a weathered, stern face under the hood and carries a large, glowing lantern. Despite his stern exterior, he's a deeply caring figure who desires the safety and well-being of all who follow him. Worshippers of Ismian are typically watchmen and travellers on the open road. Temples to him and his holy symbols are typically found at crossroads or near the city gates, symbolising his protection of paths and travellers. Rogue says this feels like a paladin god, like roaming judge energy. Yes. Does Ismian have opinions on the concept of negative, neutral, or positive peace? Yes.
Uh,
Yes, he does. And
exactly what the opinions are a different matter. I'm
I
sure
mean-
there'd be a preference anyway.
I feel that he would like positive peace. Positive peace sounds good in general, right?
I
Right?
mean, if he's also like the god of the god worshipped by watchmen and things like that, I feel positive peace would be the primary aim.
Yeah.
I mean, it is one of
Because
those things that
neutral peace would involve kind of a balance of criminality and good being there, which I don't feel he would vibe with, and obviously negative as hell out is just hell out.
there is a conflict when it comes down to the concept of positive peace is effectively, I mean, peace in itself is a very difficult thing to go with in its regard. It's more a case of what are we referring to when we say positive, negative, or neutral? Because, for instance, a land could be very, very peaceful, but it's mainly because they have quite a strong hold over the people so that no one steps out of line. Is that a negative peace or is that a positive peace? Because depending on which person you talk to, they're going to come up with a different answer. And that would be an interesting one. What is Ismin's version of positive, negative, and neutral peace? Because it's not coming from the eyes of a mortal, it's coming from the eyes of a god.
I
I mean, the commandment, honor your path. Each individual has a unique path to follow. And this is why I asked it. It's a tough question,
Oh, yeah,
says
beautiful
Rowan.
question as well.
It's also a great question for us to ask just as we hit an advert break.
Yeah, pretty much.
Again.
I mean, I think given the fact, like, we've written in the small notes that didn't make it into the book just yet, or haven't made it into the book. Ismin the Pathstrider is the godly watchman Sam Vimes wrought large, complete with cigarette and hole in the bottom of his boot so he can tell where he is.
Oh, I love Vimes.
So, I mean, I feel that ad break questions are my speciality. And lore is back
Welcome
to
back.
lurk some more. I mean, I feel that
is all sorted.
Vimes's views of positive, negative, and neutral peace are probably somewhat very similar to where Ismin stands, where it's like Vimes very clearly has a view of how the city works. He knows how the city ticks over, and Ismin has that, but on the scale of a world, or at the very least, a continent. And, like, there is a certain amount of criminality that happens because it sort of has to.
Of course, the criminality has to go on. You know, we've got the Thieves Guild to think about.
Yeah, but it's regulated, isn't it? They don't steal more than their yearly quota.
Yeah, they don't steal more than the quota. You know, they're all good.
But I think that's also the viewpoint that,
if you do break the law of the Thieves Guild, they are very effective policemen anyway.
they are very effective at stopping you from breaking the law.
Yeah, very pointy justice.
But I think that that's probably also how Ismian feels about it. Is like, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to protect the people that follow me, but I know that I can't do everything. Like, we are not imposing no free will on everyone, because that's what it would take to stop all criminality everywhere all the time.
At which point you might as well just hand the world over to Magnus.
Yeah. I love that Ismene worshipping rogues as thieves turned thief catcher. Yeah. Sounds a good idea.
That would be a very interesting class to take. Making a special rogue class being the thief catcher. You become adept in your field so that you can catch those that use your ability.
You know all the tricks. You know all the tricks.
Effectively, you get a divine class for the or a divine
And it's trickery.
for the sake of a rogue. That sounds
And it's
cool,
trickery.
actually.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
I'm liking the idea of having some form of ability in that subclass that is one step ahead. That's like coming off of the Aladdin song of one jump ahead of the Watchman. Like,
oh, I love it.
You are now one jump ahead of Aladdin. Like, you know the way that Aladdin would get out of this situation. So you know how to be one step ahead of that.
You're waiting at the window, ready to clothesline him as he comes through.
Yeah. They're busy around there with Abu and the sword, and you're over here where Aladdin's gonna be because of the distraction. We might need to make this. I'm gonna make a note of this.
Thief taker.
I must have. Yeah, that works so well.
Yeah. That's a good one. And you better have made a note of Dave the Violently Ill as well.
I mean, I don't think I need to make a note of Dave the Violently Ill because he's going to live on in all of our hearts and minds.
No, you need a note of him.
Being violently ill.
Pride of place in the notes.
Which of the deities did we discuss Dave the Violently Ill around?
I can't remember now. I believe it was Beffin.
I'll just pop him. I'll pop him in the notes to expand section.
Because it was that all stories deserve to be told. So it's like, if they're in rock bottom, they might tell the story of Dave the Violently Ill, who fought off a goblin incursion single-handedly.
I do love that whole thing with all stories that have to be told, but every now and again there is the one where the day I had a very satisfactory breakfast. It was toast. It did the trick.
It was perfectly fine. Done.
Could have done with maybe a bit more butter, but it was good.
The revelation also comes out in Rock Bottom that actually Dave the Violently Ill was actually Felkite in disguise, and he was just very heavily hungover that day.
Definitely.
Just, doesn't want that to be known as Felkite, so it's the few...
I won't tell that one.
Yeah.
There are some stories of the Dartry which are Felkite, but Felkite has used a different name.
Dave the Violently Ill is Malkite's Alan Smitty.
Rogue is suggesting that Felkite and Beffin are a fun pair to think about.
Oh, yeah.
I think Felkite would... Beffin will enjoy Felkite because there's a lot of stories and things there. I think Felkite would be annoyed at Beffin because Beffin would be trying to butt in with, like, flipping to the page of the actual story and showing exactly the details. So Felkite would be like, I caught a fish and it was this big, and Beffin just flips to a page with a picture of with a fish and like a measurement stick next to it.
Actually, it was only 15 inches.
Well, it's either that or it goes the complete opposite side because Felkite has so many different... There are different versions of Felkite's story, and each one has to be written down. So literally has a follower making sure that they are always with Felka, and Felka is constantly trying to get away from the follower. So writing this down is much better if the stories grow.
Oh,
It's like Felkite is more stories by word of mouth. Bethin is more stories by written down lore.
Well, that's it. Yeah, Felka is more living the stories and going about first person, as you say, whereas Belka is more trying to write it down so that there is a marked history of it forever. And it's, as you say, word of mouth versus written in a book. And I do like that it's always like their little debate against each other. And yet at the same time, they can't help but like each other because, well, you still like my stories, so I like you for that side, but can you stop writing them down? It gets irritating hearing scratching while I'm trying to talk.
so I feel that we've covered this particular selection of lore, and we've got some notes that I need to copy into the book and do some details and things. This is a place to wrap up, and I'm going to have a quick look at my notes to see what it was I'd planned for December. So December's session should be the 14th. Can't make the 14th. We might skip December.
Fair enough.
This is fine by
Because
me, because I feel many of us might be a bit busy in December.
December's a little bit tricky to do things in, so we'll come back in January. Where I think we'll put off the topic I was going to put next, and in January I think we should come back and discuss extraplanar travel and extraplanar places to go and visit, because we might have an interested party in discussing that with us.
Somewhere with lots of cats. I feel that's important.
Yes.
Don't worry, I've started rewatching Rick and Morty. They've got plenty of extra-dimensional things.
Okay.
But we'll have the bot dimension. There's just giant bots that fart.
So we'll come back for that. Do come back for that as well. Please come back. And to aid you in coming back, if you are watching this and haven't done so already, please do hit that follow button. It's a great way for you guys to know we go live, a completely free way that you can support us on channel. It really does mean a lot to us. We also have a Discord you can join to chat with us about the games that we're playing and things that we're doing. There is a space on there that you can... Oh, I've got the hiccups. There is a space on the Discord that you can talk to us about Tamrinor related things specifically. We also have a YouTube channel that you can go on to talk with us about the... to go and see the previous videos that we have done, both on this and other topics. We also have a website, finalbossfight.co.uk, that I might be working on very shortly, giving a new coat of paint to the website, making some small tweaks to it. So stay tuned for those fun times. But also on the website, you will be able to see things such as the events that we are planning to attend. And at the end of this month, Geoff and myself are going to be at Dragon Meet in London.
Yeah.
And I'll bring that up specifically tonight because we're going to be having these flyers that have on one side of them the Tamrinor campaign setting, with some delightful artwork as drawn by the Angel Games player and the logo as drawn by Pendragon Nomad. And underneath my hand here is a QR code that if you have a copy of this flyer, you will be able to scan to get a preview of the Tamrinor campaign setting book. What that preview bit is, I don't know at the moment, but stay tuned. And then on the other side of this double-sided flyer, there is a mysterious but perfectly ordinary house. That, again, behind my hand is another QR code that will allow you to download a free adventure that we have written from our website. So we're going to have those, and we're going to have some other things at Dragon Meat to do. And to give you and to talk with you about. So if you are at Dragon Meat, which is a tabletop role-playing game convention in London, do come and say hello. We'll be in the podcast zone with 20 other amazing UK-based TTRPG podcasters.
Bring a warm jumper.
Bring a warm jumper. It is kind of chilly in the space that the podcast zone is at. Or it was last year. I assume we're about the same this year.
I think we're in the same spot this year looking at the map.
Yeah, I think we are. We're going to go to the credits now, and oh god.
Well, I'm glad that worked.
Yay!
Shove
Whoops.
that over there. We're going to go to the credits now, and now you can see them. Actually, I'm going to do this, and we're going to go over this side. No, that's worse. I'm doing UI on the fly. Hold on.
Oh, dear.
There we go. This works now. There we go. Tomorrow on the FBF channel, we are doing some Rime of the Frost Maiden, where the group have made it into the Cavern of Hunger. But with the Frost Maiden hot on their heels, will they be able to actually look around or not? Tune in to find out. On Monday, myself, Sean, and Michael, jeez, brain, Michael and
Doing
Ben.
well.
Ben, why are you everyone?
Michael, you know.
Ben, why are you everyone?
I don't know. I just think I'm that kind of personality.
Myself, Sean, and Michael will be playing some Satisfactory, where I will be finishing up the oil processing and possibly starting on getting us some power from the oil. And Michael will hopefully be doing some iron plant works for the third week in a row. On Wednesday, myself and the Engine Games player are going to be playing some midweek Minecraft on the Direwolf 21.21 mod pack, where I'm going to probably be continuing to do the mining segment, because I haven't had a chance to do any more mining on there just yet, and start working towards some of the interesting mods that we can play with, and we might be joined by a new starter. On Friday, the Golden Tooth are back in the Crypt of the Talhund. They've just defeated 14 dwarven skeletons, and there are still more crypt for them to explore. So stay tuned. On Saturday next week, it is quiz night, with November's quiz featuring a round on the deadliest catch, as well as an X-Men or AI round, and a third and fourth rounds to be determined by me not remembering the notes at the moment, but, you know, we'll see what happens when we get there. Rounds. I'll double check.
I don't think that'll fit on the UI.
And it sounds
in
fun.
the week. So stay tuned to all of those streams and so many more coming up as well. For now, we'll do a raid
Today.
and that raid Yeah, I think we'll do another raid, because Desert Bus for Hope is happening. We raided into it yesterday after golden tooth, but I feel that we can raid into it again now. Desert Bus for Hope is happening. They are raising money for Child's Play. They were happening yesterday, they're still happening now, and they will be happening for the rest of the week. If you can afford to send them some money, it goes to a great cause, raising money for children in hospitals. We'll see you guys again real soon. For now, so long. Bye, guys.
Bye.
And